Channel 4 is a brand new TV show that has had people talking. It's a Sin was created by Russell T Davies, which features gay actors playing gay characters to represent life in the times of the 80s AIDS crisis.
Oh, he said, she said, they said. They're always saying something, but do you want to know the truth?
Do you know what it really is, AIDS?
It's a racket. It's a money-making scheme for drugs companies.
Do you seriously think there's an illness that only kills gay men? It can calculate that you're gay and kill you, but no one else. What about bisexuals? Do they only get sick every other day?
And they say it's a cancer, but you can't catch cancer. Cancer is not a thing that can get caught. It's not like a cold or a cough, it's cancer. It doesn't transmit.
So we're going to chat to James Luxford after this. So James is a TV and film critic who's been looking into it. Here's Razorlight America. Razorlight America on BBC Radio Oxford. So tonight on Channel 4 is It's a Sin, featuring gay actors playing gay characters to represent life in the times of the 80s AIDS crisis, and it was written by Russell T Davies. So earlier I spoke to James Luxford. They are a TV and film critic, and I wanted to know what we can ahead of the show called It's a Sin, and that's going to be on tonight. So this is what I said to James.
Well, it's a new collaboration between Channel 4 and HBO. It's from Russell T Davies, who you may remember as the creator of Queer as Folk and the person who brought back Doctor Who in the mid-2000s and made it the sensation it is today. It's about a group of 5 18-year-olds who moved to London in 1981, and just as they're discovering themselves and their adulthood, they are hit by the arrival of the AIDS crisis of the early 1980s, and their lives are turned upside down. It stars Ollie Alexander, who you may know from the pop group Years and Years. Also appearing alongside him are Keeley Hawes, Neil Patrick Harris, and Stephen Fry. Of course, the creator, Russell T Davies, has been very vocal about casting LGBTQ actors as LGBTQ characters. So there's quite a strong LGBTQ presence there, considering the story. And it's been considered one of the big shows to look out for, even in this sort of crowded TV landscape.
And I wanted to get your opinion on that, actually, because I've seen it in the news this week. Should gay actors play gay characters? What was your opinion when you saw that in the news this week?
My opinion, as someone who's part of the LGBTQ community, and I always want to see someone a bit more like myself represented on screen, I always sort of wince a little bit, because there is an ideal to this and there is a reality to it. I will use the example of Scarlett Johansson, who was going to play a trans man in a movie a few years ago, and there was some outcry on it. Of course, the ideal is a transgender man should be playing that role. The reality of it is, once that star has left, the movie got shut down, so that story doesn't get told.
Yeah.
And so I think at the moment you're sort of caught in a difficult balance between there being a growing number of LGBTQ stars making films, but maybe not as enough to get projects greenlit like this. Of course, Russell T Davies is an exception for TV because he has created so many great hits. I think it's something where the progression of different types of stars and the need for representation kind of rubs against itself, kind of clashes and contradicts itself. So there's no easy answer, but I think, yes, the ideal is I would like to see queer actors playing queer parts, but I would like to just see, more than anything, great stories being told.
Exactly that. I completely understand that. And it's actually quite interesting that they've chosen this year to air this programme. I understand filming began late 2019, so pre-coronavirus. But again, with the AIDS crisis, it has some sort of parallel relation to the coronavirus, doesn't it? Because everyone's worlds are being turned upside down in that respect.
It has, and I think there are some obvious mirrors to it. I read from some interviews from Russell T Davies, that there are characters in this who deny it, who say, the oncoming AIDS crisis isn't anything to worry about, that it's not real or whatever, and then have their lives turned down when it suddenly becomes very real. There are some obvious parallels. I think there's also, it's an important story to be told. I think there's the story of the AIDS crisis is a difficult one, and shows like Pose and It's a Sin are bringing a light to something that I think, people dying secret deaths, and they're not so secret anymore.
Why do you think we're watching it now, though? Why do you think they've gone, let's do something on the AIDS crisis that happened in the 80s?
I think because there's some distance, and I think because there's a new generation talking about it, and there's a new generation who may not be aware of it, and there is more LGBTQ representation around the world, really, and I think a need for more LGBTQ history, more queer history to be explored, and more icons, and a generation was lost, really, particularly in the LGBTQ community. Of course, AIDS affected a number of people, but of all stripes, but the effect on an entire generation of people who aren't here anymore.
More from James and It's a Sin after this. Sax, Maybe Don't on BBC Radio Oxford. So tonight on Channel 4 is a brand new TV show that has had people talking this week. It's a Sin, which was created by Russell T Davies, which features gay actors playing gay characters to represent life in the times of the 80s AIDS crisis. The reason why I'm going to watch it, and I'll tell you this now, is because I want to educate myself on an era I didn't actually experience. The AIDS crisis, and watching it with my parents who lived through that, is going to be thoroughly interesting as well. But why is TV and film critic James Luxford going to watch it?
I'm always interested in stories that haven't really been explored before. And this is a group of young men who are becoming adults, and all of the exciting things that come with being adult, going out, falling in love for a long time, falling in love for a short time, if you will. But then all of a sudden, this thing that hits your identity, that threatens your life, and there are a lot of very harrowing stories if you read around about people in places like London and New York who lose their entire world, who lose their entire circle, partners, friends, and everyone that sort of made them feel at home, I suppose. And that's something that I don't think is ever really portrayed. And of course, things like people like Freddie Mercury and Kenny Everett, the radio DJ, and people who high-profile people who suffered. This gives faces to a number of people who, as I say, keep using that phrase, dying secret deaths. I think it's a fascinating and important look at a part of history that maybe isn't taught or broadcast very often.
Exactly that. And obviously this is mainly what we're going to be doing at the weekend, is just watching TV, unless people are going to go out on walks or baking, whatever you can do in this lockdown. How has the power of TV changed us in this pandemic?
I suppose it has given us the one communal thing we can do. I get messages from my sister late at night saying to, quote, get on the Bridgerton train. And there's shows that pop up that seem to unite us all, because we can all watch them now with on demand. We can all keep up with them at our own time, and we can all discuss them. We can all make appointments. We can all make Zoom calls. We can all make phone calls to discuss how we feel about certain shows. Things like Tiger King last year in the first lockdown became so popular. There was talk of Joe Exotic getting a presidential pardon when President Trump was leaving office, and that's the power of what TV has been during this pandemic. That I think it's become just the unifying factor. And when you think about it, live music, anything live, anything where people congregate together is impossible right now. And so the sort of water cooler moments of TV are happening over WhatsApp, happening over email or messaging or calls. It's really become a boom period for particularly streaming services. Netflix just passed 200 million subscribers worldwide.
Wow.
Shows like, as I said, the Bridgerton, The Crown, WandaVision on Disney Plus, and The Mandalorian. The Boys on Amazon. TV is having a revolution during this pandemic as the sort of the sole entertainment. And the reason is it is something new. It is a glimpse of what we can't do at the moment. I think we've all had that moment where we watch people mingling, not socially distant on TV, and go, oh, remember when we could do that?
Yeah, or panicking a little bit, or going, oh my gosh, they're not together, and you remember, oh wait, this isn't real life.
But it's a chance to message someone and go, did you see what happened on this latest episode, or with Bake Off, or any reality show? I think at a time when we're never more distant from the people we love, I think TV is a way of at least culturally bringing us all together.
It's a Sin airs tonight on Channel 4 at 9 p.m.